Hello, hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. So we are back again, Umbrella Talk episod ketiga. Alright, episod ketiga dengan tajuk Terlalu Mengharap. Alright, so hari ini macam saya cakap previous Umbrella Talk, kita tak nak bawa Encik Nasrun dah, kita bawa orang lain. Alright, so hari ini bersama dengan saya Puan Sofiah. So saya panggil, lebih mesra saya panggil Kak Sofiah lah.
Okay.
Alright, so Kak Sofiah merupakan klinikal psikologis under Payung Redup juga, one of our locum. So would you like to say hi to the viewers?
Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum.
Alright, okay, so hari ini kita nak talk about expectation, kan? So macam kalau previous Umbrella Talk tu kita dah cakap tentang nak kahwin ke tak nak kahwin, nak kahwin ke tak nak kahwin, kan? And then ada a lot of discussion going on about expectation, communication, kan? Kita,
trauma response.
Trauma response, kan? Tiba-tiba go into deep sangat tu. So macam bila dah deep tu kita orang pun terkapai-kapai lah. Kalau saya Nasrul kan, macam mana nak buat naik balik. Alright, so bila kita talk about marriage, kan? So before tu kita nak understand the real to really know about expectation tu lah. Okay, so kalau tengok Umbrella Talk punya episodes, it's linking, kan? Macam link lepas satu. So hari ni we want to talk about expectation. Alright, so without kita continue without further ado, without kita continue, kita start sini. Maafkan saya. Okay, without further ado. Alright, so bila kita cakap tentang expectation ni, kan, why do you think people hope?
Oh, an interesting question. First of all, thank you to Payung Redup as well for this opportunity. I think to everyone out there, before we continue to answer that question, very important kalau for you guys untuk tengok the previous episodes, because it actually links. So bila you have decided that you want to marry someone, then you start thinking about the expectations in a way. It goes concurrently, dia go pada masa yang sama, tapi kalau obviously tak nak kahwin dengan orang tu, tak fikirlah apa expectation terhadap orang tu, kan? Okay. So anyway, coming back to your question,
why do people hope?
Why do people hope? Yes. I think hoping or putting hope in someone or something is natural. It's a human response and it's a process for a human. Masalah terjadi apabila pengharapan tidak diletakkan pada tempat yang sepatutnya. That's the problem. So bila, apa maksud pengharapan tidak letak pada tempat yang sepatutnya? Bila terlalu unrealistic, ataupun bila terlalu banyak harapan, yang menyebabkan kita rasa macam I hope for A, B, C, D, and sebelum kahwin konon-konon we've discussed about it, but lepas kahwin there comes the issue of kenapa you're not like this, you know, right? So to in short, it's natural for humans to hope. Cuma putting it in perspective sangat-sangat penting.
So bila kita cakap tentang macam you mention tadi, unrealistic hope, kan? So macam where do we go, ataupun macam mana kita nak tahu if the hope tu realistic ke tak realistic ke? Sebab sometimes, kan, bila kita manusia, sometimes there's nothing wrong with hoping, kan? I think bila dengan harapan ni lah is what keeps us going, right? Dengan
that's
harapan,
very beautiful,
kan? So
betul?
macam okay, kita ada certain harapan, so itulah yang macam kita nak continue our life, kan?
Betul.
Tapi where do you think harapan can go wrong? So macam the unrealistic part tu, how do you think?
Interesting. Okay, I think basically something becomes unrealistic bila you are, first of all, I would say you put too much focus on it. It goes beyond, okay, number one, too much focus on it. It becomes unrealistic. Contoh, I give you an example. Typical orang nak kahwin, dia nak, okay, let's put we female dulu as perspective, okay, we don't want to make this sexist. We'll do female and male perspective. Basically my examples will be from clinic cases as well as experience outside lah. So contoh perempuan, dia akan letak harapan suami contoh kena buat kerja rumah semua, which is true, betul lah, kita hope that, kan. Tapi it becomes unrealistic bila you are hoping too much on it and you rely on it fully without looking into yourself. Apa yang aku boleh buat? Apa yang aku boleh contribute? Kenapa agaknya aku mengharap begini? Satu. Kedua, hopes can become unrealistic bila dia melangkaui keupayaan seseorang. Contoh, your partner, your soon to be partner, gaji dia let's say 3,000. Put 3,000 lah. Kalau you tinggal kat urban area sangat-sangat rendah 3,000 tu, kan? Ataupun we would say okay lah, if you put sangat-sangat rendah, I would put mediocre. Tapi you will still struggle, kan? Kalau you ada anak semua, you might have to do other side jobs. Tapi you expect you punya nafkah contohnya kenalah 500 ke atas. Contoh. Kenapa? Sebab I punya keperluan 500 ke atas, dan bukan ke you kena kasih I keperluan tu. That's when issues happen. That's when it becomes very unrealistic bila melangkaui kebolehan seseorang. Right.
And then for example, contohnya macam tadi you talk about financial kan. Of course lah, bila kita living in this world, kalau kita selalu dengar apa, love ataupun money kan, selalunya macam tu kan. So macam when it comes to financial, kita ada certain expectation like you said lah. So you know your husband ada gaji 3,000, so sometimes kita expect a little bit more in terms of financial punya kan. So itu in terms of financial, but sometimes kita ada dengar juga ataupun you know when you married a very busy person kan, even before you kahwin pun you marry like a very busy person. For example macam doctor, right, worker, worker. You know, with this hospital life, it will be very busy kan? So this is where lagi-lagi kalau isteri lah kan, husband you doctor, so isteri of course kita would want a lot of attention. So this expectation of like, oh I want a lot of attention daripada husband kita kan. So I think this can actually be unrealistic as well.
Yes, it's very true. That's a very good example. That's another problem that we usually face in cases. Kalau clinic cases, memang sebagai CPs kita akan handle, clinical psychologist kita akan handle mental health issues kan. Iman pun sama, saya pun sama. Cuma semua isu-isu ni selalu dia berkait rapat dengan masalah lain lah, marital, bully and so on so forth. Coming back to marital issues, like what Iman said just now, apabila kita meletakkan harapan, let's say busy, nature job seseorang lah. Contoh you punya husband ataupun you punya partner, let's not put husband lah, partner you jenis freelance. Bila freelance, kadang-kadang ada job dia kena balik malam, contoh kan. Orang yang freelance tu sendiri, dia kena tahu dia punya boundaries lepas dah berkahwin macam mana. Orang yang hidup dengan orang tu sendiri yang freelance tu tadi pun kena ada expectation, oh kerja dia macam ni. So coming back to the topic hope ni, expectations ni, you have to maneuver your life throughout that expectation. So contoh, you are marrying someone who is a HO, an MO lah, tak kisah, doktor lah kan. And you know, especially dia kerja let's say in hospitals, maksudnya dia tak buat dia tak kerja in private clinics kan, for example, and you tahu dia ada post call, on call and so on so forth, all these things. So what do I say when you have to maneuver throughout hope adalah you have to think, how do I continue, how do I live through this marriage, how do I make it a more fulfilling relationship. So you start thinking of what are the habits that I could do with my partner, so that walaupun dia sibuk, we still can make this relationship grow. Itu dah masuk topik pasal habit semua kan. Yes. But coming back to expectation semua ni, the point of knowing that your expectation is realistic, and whether your partner boleh live, bukan not about living up to that expectation tau, tapi understanding, oh you punya expectation macam ni I boleh buat takat ni je. How do we maneuver, how do we compromise? That's the biggest thing. Right?
Faham. And then bila you know, life will always move kan, ataupun lagi-lagi bila kita seorang-seorang pun expectation would be different, and then bila kita nak get another person kan, person in our life, you know, partner, not even husband and wife yet, you know, partner, itu pun expectation pun dah berbeza. Kita nak kena have, you know, a higher expectation macam kan. Tapi I think kan, I'm not sure lah, mungkin orang lain ke apa, tapi I was just I was just wondering
dia tak cakap lagi, saya dah gelak.
So I was just wondering kan, kalau I am very familiar with woman punya expectation, alright, sebab you know as a woman myself, kita get, you know, that expectation yang tu kan. So macam kalau lelaki pula, what do you think lelaki punya expectation would be? Kalau macam tadi macam we mention kan, perempuan would be financially, your husband would support you financially ke, attention wise. So of course attention tu pun husband pun your partner lelaki pun kena juga kan want that as well. Tapi what do you think lelaki betul expectation lelaki selalunya macam mana? I'm not really familiar with that, and I think the viewers will want to know as well lah. From your clinical experience, I wouldn't say your own
experience. Betul. Clinical experience. Yeah, like what Iman said just now. I cannot become the voice for men lah, obviously kan. Tapi based on what I've seen cases before, to be very honest kan, I think men, they actually want from what they want from a marriage kan. Sorry men out there if it's wrong, yeah, you can always mention in the comments if it's wrong. What I see, they usually want peace. Diorang dia nak sesederhana ketenangan tu. Tak kisahlah background SES dia, socio-economic background dia gaji T20 ke, B40 ke, M40 ke, tak kisah. Tapi kenapa diorang go into marriage adalah diorang nak tenang, diorang tak nak kekacauan, keserabutan benda tu tau. Sebab tu kadang-kadang kita akan nampak jujur ni based on my cases ada satu patient ni bila wife dia memang cakap kat saya, wife dia antara salah satu manusia yang dalam hidup dia, dalam banyak perempuan lah sebenarnya, yang paling tidak selalu membebel. Dan dia kata walaupun dia ada mental health issues, dia cakap dia bersyukur sangat-sangat sebab wife dia satu benda yang dia tak boleh nak cari kat perempuan lain adalah tak suka membebel. Dia cakap sekali dan dia boleh bincang. And I find that very macam interesting. Dan kita sebagai I jujur because I'm married as well, kita tak nampak macam bebel. Kita nampak macam kenapa kau tak buat lagi benda ni? Betul. Tapi
pinggan mangkuk kan, lepas makan pinggan letak atas meja dulu, malam ke esok ke kan.
Yes, exactly. But then from their perspective, what I see is they want it to be bukan setakat communication tau, the ability to discuss, the ability to talk about it, even benda sekecil-kecil buang sampah. And that's this is how it's related to expectations. Bila contoh a partner, not putting female or male, but to extend to Iman's question just now, bila a partner puts an expectation that kalau aku cakap benda ni kau kena buat lah. If I say that I want it to be like this, if I say that I want it to be in this order, you have to follow lah. And without understanding that partner of us, they were brought up in a whole different environment. They were brought up by a whole different set of parents. And it's very hard for us to impose without us realizing. Tanpa kita sedar dalam perkahwinan ada masa kita akan impose our values on them, and that's when clashes happen. So this is really sebenarnya, to be very honest, in my point of view, expectations and conflict management sangat berkait rapat. Betul. You akan datang konflik bila orang tu tak memenuhi you punya expectation in a way, kan? So bila you are able to in a way manage your expectations, dan you pula boleh manage conflicts, it doesn't become worse. I give you one example. Okay, a lot of us, tak kisah female or males, kita selalu expect yang perkahwinan kita tak ada pergaduhan. Paling tak pun jadi minimal lah. Betul. Paling jujur, ayat yang saya paling selalu dapat daripada pasangan-pasangan kat luar sana dalam session adalah dia kena tahulah. Contoh gaduh pasal kita ambil tak gaduh paling simple, buang sampah.
Betul.
Paling simple.
Apa ni, work task yang house task, house chores yang sangat susah nak buat. So bila contoh pasangan akan cakap, tak kisah ni apply to female or male, dia akan cakap saya suruh dia buang, dia tak buang, dia kena tahulah saya tak suka. Dia kena tahulah tu is an expectation. Assuming that your partner have to know.
Exactly, right? So to conclude that point, when you, again, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic when you impose your expectations, your values to someone else, and you expect that person to know I'm like this. You dah kahwin dengan I 10 tahun. Believe me or not, pasangan I ada satu case where I do family therapy. Dia punya parents dia dah umur 60. Bila buat session, diorang dah kahwin for 30 years kalau tak silap eldest dia dah lebih kurang macam tu lah, tak ingat. Tapi more or less macam tu. But basically nak kata dah kahwin selama 30 lebih tahun pun, I can see clearly from the get-go the expectations towards each other sangat tinggi, sangat-sangat besar. Satu pasangan ni, dalam satu pasangan ni, A dengan B kan, A expect B sepatutnya tahu cara kita nak didik anak macam ni. Tapi bila I suruh, B tak nak buat. I annoyed lah. Dan benda ni berterusan. Apa jadi adalah walaupun mereka tidak bercerai alhamdulillah, in a way, tapi berlakunya continuous conflict dan memberikan kesan kepada anak-anak. Di sini masuk juga kat sini pun akan masuk topik yang saya rasa sangat-sangat sensitif pasal penceraian dan seumpamanya, but that's a whole different topic.
Faham. I think bila tadi you mentioned about when two different individuals coming from different household kan, the expectation, contohnya kita nampak benda simple je lah, buang sampah kan. So benda macam tu mungkin dalam kehidupan the woman tu dulu husband, the father ke the brothers, itu adalah kerja lelaki dalam rumah tu kan. Tapi kalau lepas kahwin, itulah dia aspect tu, right? The subconsciously expectation kan, macam expectation secara subconscious,
yes, betul.
like you wouldn't really think that sebenarnya benda ni pun you have to spell it out.
Betul.
So macam mungkin lelakinya pula dulu time mungkin sebelum kahwin tu dia duduk seorang-seorang.
Betul.
And so whatever he does, he will do it on his own pace kan, in his own pace.
Betul.
So macam bila kahwin, tiba-tiba macam everything has to be planned. Right, so macam kalau macam kalau dapat pula for example your partner jenis nak suka plan, like keluar sampah sebelum tidur pukul 10 setiap every
night.
Every day you have to keluarkan macam tu. So kat situ sometimes that's where the expectation clashes.
Yes,
kan?
betul. Sebab tu compromising in relationships are very important. Baik orang yang ada expectation, baik orang yang tak ada party. So let's give a different example lah. Contoh, you expect your partner weekend kena kosong. Kena kosong. Kenapa? Sebab kena bawa anak keluar. Which is betul lah. Literally teori dia adalah kita kena spend time dengan keluarga. Which is betul, understandable. Cuma compromising is when you understand, dia ada benda ni. So how do we work out this? Weekend ni tak boleh nak keluar. Dah 2 weekend ni tak boleh keluar ni. Partner ada kerja. So kena discuss lah dengan partner. How do we go about it? Sebab goalnya apa? Sebab tu bila you ada expectation, dia berkait rapat juga. Satu tadi saya cakap pasal unrealistic semua kan. Satu lagi dia berkait rapat dengan goal of the marriage. Kemana you nak bawa perkahwinan tu? So kalau expectation seorang A expectation macam ni, B expectation dia macam ni, rupa-rupanya goal you adalah berbeza. Contoh,
purpose of the marriage.
Yes, exactly. Contoh balik kepada yang example tadi, kita kena spend weekend, kena spend dengan anak. You tak boleh ada apa-apa. So yang partner seorang lagi ni, bila contohlah datangnya job dan dia perlukan job tu, tapi macam alamak, partner seorang lagi kata jangan, kena kosong weekend ni. Kat situ datangnya perbincangan. I kena ambil job ni lah, sebab job ni macam sebab I rasa dia punya income quite reasonable and we need money at the moment. So kat situ, tapi sekarang ni benda tu dah tak inline dah dengan partner seorang lagi ni. So kat situ kena discuss, okay, so at the end of the day, kenapa kita kena kosongkan weekend? Because we want to spend time with our children. Sebab kita Isnin sampai Jumaat kita kerja.
Right.
So macam mana agaknya kita nak achieve this goal? What are the other ways we could do apart from spending during this weekend? That's one. Selalunya, to be very honest, bila kita dah terlalu lama dalam satu perkahwinan, kita tak sedar, kita ada pattern menyalahkan the other party.
Right.
Kalau there's a technique in therapy where it's called the IU technique. I'm not going to explain further on that, but to say that selalunya kita akan guna you. You lah. Weekend je you free. Weekend je you ada hal. Weekend je ada hal. Tengok anak kita macam ni.
I je. I je.
Yes.
I je. You lepak je.
Yes, exactly. So it becomes a blame game. Blame games are what makes people get very defensive. It leads to other issues. It's all related to, again, expectation. Why do you blame someone? Because you expect that someone should do this. So I'm blaming you because you're not fulfilling this, right? So in other words, I would say both humans, both individuals in a relationship akan ada expectations. Number one, coming back to the whole topic, is it realistic or not? Number two, how are you able to maneuver and compromise this aim or this expectation that you have?
And I think the expectation of the marriage life tu sendiri kan, macam how you change, macam I think before this, you know, when we talked about this topic kan, I think when you mentioned about healthy and happy marriage kan,
yes.
macam I think that is something yang
that's
macam,
very interesting.
when we have a pre-discussion about this topic, you mentioned about healthy and happy
marriage.
marriage kan. So
Betul.
what do you kind of like, I want to know
My
more about
thoughts.
it.
Okay. Okay, kalau you jumpa patients ataupun clients, selalunya apa aim diorang masuk therapy?
I think it's to improve your quality of life. That's for sure.
Okay.
Right? And then to be happy.
Yes. A lot of people out there, termasuk kita jugalah kan, before we learn about all of this psychology stuff, I guess.
True.
We want to be happy. Believe me, happiness is not a goal. Happiness is an emotion, it comes and goes. The problem when you put happiness as a goal is that when it's not there anymore, you start losing your bearings. You macam, I'm not happy anymore. Oh my god, what am I feeling right now? That's when you start questioning, kenapa aku kahwin dengan dia ni I'm not happy in this. Tapi bila you put your goal, I want to have a healthy marriage, then it comes in conflict management, expectations, managing your expectations and other things. So very important for all of you out there, whether you are planning to get married, baru berkahwin ataupun sudah lama berkahwin, tak ada masalah. It's always important for you to discuss with your partner, what's our goal? Where do you want to bring this marriage? Believe me, marriage ni, it is a very beautiful relationship, very beautiful in many ways, Masya Allah. It's very beautiful. Tapi it become despite saying it's beautiful, we have to understand it can become ugly at times. But that's what constitute a healthy marriage. Healthy marriages or healthy, let's not put marriage in perspective, in general relationships, healthy relationships are with conflicts.
Betul?
Problem happens when you're not able to manage conflicts. Tell me, give me one name out there if you can. If you can think of anyone, you can write in the comment box. Tell me one person in your life yang tak pernah mengalami apa-apa konflik langsung
dalam kehidupan dia.
Tak ada. Tak ada. Sebab tu, coming back to Iman's question just now, bila you hope to have a happy married life, dan ni sangat berkaitan dengan topik yang Nasrun cakap in the last session, trauma response. Dan you cakap, aku tak nak perkahwinan macam mak ayah aku contohnya. Aku nak perkahwinan yang gembira, yang aku rasa seronok. Believe me, humans out there, emotions are like waves. They come and go, like what I said just now, right? So in other words, work on achieving a healthy marriage. Define what is healthy, understand and learn what is a healthy relationship. That's when your expectations akan in line with that goal.
And I believe healthy marriage punya expectation tu, it varies between different partners kan. So macam mungkin orang lain dia punya definition of healthy tu berbeza, and then mungkin you and your partner will be different. And I think in order for you to achieve that, is first you have to understand your expectation juga, betul tak?
Betul.
Right. So you have to understand your own expectation, and then you have to kind of like understand your partner's expectations, and then kita try to, like you said, maneuver tu.
Yes, maneuver through it. Okay, I have a question for you. Kita pula tanya.
Takut. Okay.
Where do you think expectations come from?
I think it comes from past experience, right? Okay, betul. 10/10. Okay, I dapat A+.
I don't have the answer specifically. Maksudnya it's not like 1 + 1 is 2, kan?
Right.
Tapi this is based on experience, handling cases as well. Usually our expectations are always based on the past. Kita punya history dalam marriage in particular, kita punya goal kita punya expectations adalah berdasarkan past relationships ataupun past marriages, sama ada extended family ataupun family kita sendiri yang kita tak nak. Contoh, mak ayah kita punya marriage, contoh mak kita ni jenis suka salahkan ayah depan kita. Ayah kau lah ni, ayah kau sama macam ni, contoh and kita pun macam fikir, aku kalau kahwin nanti aku tak nak macam tu. Aku tak nak.
Even that simple word tu pun expectation.
Yes, exactly.
Aku
Betul.
tak nak macam ni.
Betul. Very important, tanpa anda sedar. I'm not saying it's wrong totally. Obviously lah, kita tak nak lah perkahwinan yang kita asyik blame each other depan anak-anak especially kan. Cuma very important untuk kita faham, kenapa agaknya aku datang expectation ni. Review ourselves. Banyak orang masuk perkahwinan, mereka tidak reflect on themselves. Ataupun kalau tak kata, I wouldn't, it's not fair for me to say tak reflect. I would say very minimal reflection. Untuk sebuah perhubungan, I would say become a healthier relationship, very important to have an introspective view of yourself. Oh, kenapa agaknya aku punya expectation macam ni Oh, sebab aku nampak bila mak aku cakap macam tu, ayah aku muka dia sedih. Faham. So apa yang aku boleh buat in my marriage supaya aku tak buat macam ni? What should I be more mindful of? The word I'm an avid user of Twitter. There was one tweet before that I read. To be very honest, I tak ingat siapa. I tak ingat tweet handle dia, tapi I ingat seorang ni pernah cakap dia pun a patient lah, dia ada mental health issues, and the person openly talks about it, and the person actually says dia penat bila therapist dia selalu cakap pasal mindfulness.
Betul.
So dia rasa mindfulness tak help pun.
Our go to siapa apa mindfulness dulu.
Betul.
CBT mindfulness.
Yes, betul. People even in CBT pun people some of you might not know, you can read on CBT as well, tapi even in CBT pun dia dah masukkan mindfulness punya elemen juga to say how is this related to relationships. When you are mindful of yourself, mindfulness is basically the idea of being in the present and not judging yourself, not putting judgments towards it kan. When you're more mindful of the relationship, you akan sedar expectation aku ni realistik ke tidak pada waktu ini of my partner. Oh, tak realistik lah. Sebab dia tengah penat. Contoh, you expect, you tengah nangis, you expect dia pujuk.
Betul. Kita pula memang suka dipujuk.
Betul.
Merajuk pula benda sikit-sikit.
Betul. Kan, kita expect dia pujuk. Tapi kalau you are mindful, you akan sedar, you bila you mindful ni, you boleh regulate emotion semua tau. So bila you are mindful, you boleh macam, aku expect apa daripada dia sekarang ni, aku expect dia pujuk aku, tapi dia tak pujuk sebab sekarang ni member tak pujuk kita. So kita dah start, automatically most of us respon kita adalah patutnya dia pujuk lah, kenapa abang tak pujuk? Je pergaduhan lagi besar. Dia just tak mengungkit, abang kalau saya ni selalu macam ni, kalau saya nangis abang selalu keluar rumah. Sedangkan kita tidak cuba melihat kenapa agaknya dia keluar rumah. So when you're more mindful, you're able to understand your expectation realistik ke tidak pada waktu ini. Right?
And I think benda ni is in a way where it's under managing your expectation, kan? Managing your expectation is to understand your expectation, like you said, macam being mindful, being self-aware lebih, macam to really understand more about yourself first, like you said, without judging you, without judging your own self. Sebab sometimes kita yang paling banyak judge diri kita kan.
Betul.
So macam bila kita banyak judge diri kita, sometimes we would judge people juga lah. Alright, so maybe that's the way that we, for us to kind of like manage our expectation kan, supaya it gets healthier, for you to achieve a healthier relationship lah.
Betul.
Tapi I was just wondering kan, now that you say, in terms of expectation, benda ni akan membawa kepada a lot of bad things, I suppose, right? Macam a lot of things where it can lead towards conflict, heated arguments macam tu kan. So I was just do you think that expectation is a bad thing? Like are we not supposed to expect
at all? Very good.
What do you think?
I think it's inhuman. Bukan inhuman tau, tapi it's not human. Is there such a word? It's not human to not expect all lah. Sebab you're human. Ada orang, jujur, I've met people before yang memang dia tak ada dia cakap dia tak ada expectation langsung. I would say these people, they have very deep insight. Dia tahu yang dia kena fokus more on themselves. And I really respect that. But let's be honest, macam mana orang tu cakap dia tak ada expectation langsung, mesti ada walaupun sedikit pengharapan yang partner dia macam ni, ataupun relationship jadi macam ni. Cuma bezanya adalah, instead of saying whether it works or not, instead of saying whether it works or not, instead of saying should we have hopes at all or not, it's about again understanding, coming back to the same point, understanding is this realistic or not, number one. Number two, if the person, my partner atau myself or this relationship does not fulfill what I hope it to be, how do I manage that feeling afterwards? Sebab tu macam like what Iman's question is very valid. Kalau you nak cakap dengan diri you, kita tak boleh ada expectation, jangan ada expectation.
Kita manusia kan. Expectation diri kita pun ada juga kan.
You ada expectation, you have a stable job. You have dia akan ada juga tanpa you sedar, subconsciously. Tapi the issue happens when you tak boleh nak regulate your emotions kalau benda tu tak achieve. You sangat-sangat rigid, kena juga achieve. Aku kena dapatkan perkahwinan yang bahagia. Maka bila tak bahagia, aku kena buat A, B, C, D, E. Bila aku tak bahagia, aku kena cari jalan kat luar. Bila aku tak bahagia, aku kena buat ni. That's when the issue comes in, kan? So instead of satu, work that you have to do on yourselves would be my suggestion lah, is to review your expectations. Number two, I would say work on learning about yourself and understanding the concept of acceptance. If this doesn't go my way, how do I regulate my emotions from this? How do I accept and be committed to this acceptance? There's actually a therapeutic modality called acceptance and commitment therapy. I really love it. I feel that you are learning to maneuver to learn yourself lah, in a way, learning about yourself as well.
Right. So like you said kan, macam having expectation is what makes you human. Right?
Oh my god, yeah, very true.
Human, kan? Macam like I mentioned, macam apa I said tadi, it's what brings us, moving forward lah.
Yes,
it's what brings us want to, live your life, kan? So macam expectation, like you said, it's not at all a bad thing. Right, it's not at all a bad thing, but having to deal with the expectation yang you tak dapat capai expectation, like the expectation that you have to your partner tu, dia tak capai, how do you deal with that? Right, so that the expectation doesn't really macam dia tak
berikan kesan, dia takkan berikan kesan terlalu besar pada you.
Sebab I think bila in a certain relationship with you, your partner, expectation tu is something that we how we grow the relationship, kan. Sebab kalau kita tak expect, dia jadi macam kita hamba
kosong,
ataupun macam kosong, or kita macam in a way where kita give up.
Macam very depressing jugalah, kan.
You know what, apa-apalah, right?
Yes.
Macam
yes,
so
betul.
So macam you know what, apa-apalah, I don't want. Okay lah, I nanti nak ni, okay tak apa, ikut suka you. So no more expectation, it becomes very very sad.
Betul,
very individualistic.
Betul. I actually had a case like this, where both of them dah berkahwin lama jugalah, more than 5 years. Tapi dia dah ada level yang macam tak apalah, ikutlah mana-mana yang you okay, I okay je. Sebenarnya dia jadi macam for that particular partner lah, I'm not saying all couples out there, ada je pasangan yang cakap okay je, tu maksudnya dia betul-betul okay, memang tak ada masalah. Ni I cakap pasal that particular case, to be aware of this lah. Dia jadi masalah bila dua-dua jadi macam tu. You buatlah apa-apa tak kisah. Bila jadi macam tu, both rasa macam, why am I living with this person again? So bila diorang masuk session, what happened was, macam bila discuss balik goal of the relationship, etc, dia macam kan maybe better for us to be separated kot. So yes, because we feel that we cannot live together. And to be very honest, in such cases, if separation is best for you, go for it. It's not entirely a bad thing, but you have to understand where you want to go after that. Sebab tu, if I can mention just a bit, banyak orang melihat, I'm not encouraging people to obviously be separated lah. I'm not encouraging divorce, kan.
Kita try to do our best.
But I'm not saying it's entirely wrong, because it's a process. One particular person in my life actually taught this, and may Allah bless the person. Dia cakap to me yang kehidupan ni adalah sebuah proses. Andai kata you have to battle with divorce, then battle with it, go through the process. What I'm trying to point out here is, ramai pasangan, sebab banyak saya handle cases yang mana mereka sedang dalam perkahwinan, on the verge ataupun on the way lah nak bercerai, ataupun sudah bercerai. Isunya bukan pasal penceraian, isunya adalah selepas penceraian, how do we maneuver, especially bila kita ada anak. Again, ada expectation kat situ juga. Dan jadi sangat messy sangat. Dan sebenarnya benda tu boleh lead kepada depressive symptoms seumpamanya bila lepas perkahwinan dah bercerai ni pun masih ada masalah dengan orang ni. Dia akan start rasa macam hidup aku penat hidup. All related to expectations. If I can share one very very short case, I want to point out about how it's very important to do postmortems in relationships. So I had one case, I'm not going to mention specifically gender ke apa, cuma nak katanya individu ni pun ada masalah mental issues jugalah, as usual. It's what we do lah everyday kan. So and then tapi the different thing is dia dah masuk a few sessions dan dia katalah masa third session kau tak siap, dia kata macam dia punya relationship dengan partner dia semakin tak okay. Dia punya anger over sangat teruk. Dia akan baling barang dan seumpamanya. So masa yang sama dia pun ada point of view dia mana dia rasa bersalah tapi dia tak boleh nak discuss dengan partner dia. So and then in the fourth session, surprisingly, I mean Allah bless this couple as well, what happened was dia masuk session, dia cakap, Puan Sofiah, saya last weekend saya ada macam discussion, macam pep talk sikit dengan my partner. So I was like, I don't think I suggested that. I talk more about emotional regulation with partner semua tau. Lepas tu cakap lah, you buat apa dengan your partner? So dia kata lepas anak-anak dah tidur, diorang dah anak 3, so faham lah dia punya kesibukan rumah tangga tu macam mana kan. Dia kata lepas anak tidur, diorang tidur lambat sedikit. They spent 2 to 3 hours. They actually sat down and both of them talked about what they felt. Dia tak cakap pasal kesalahan orang tu, dia cakap pasal apa dia rasa. And surprisingly, my patient said that what happened after that pep talk was dia sedar yang partner aku rasa macam ni rupanya. Dan dia kata secara tak sedar 2-3 hari lepas tu dan seminggu tu lah, dia kurang sedikit marah. Dan partner dia pun perasan. Dan bila saya jumpa partner pula selepas tu, partner dia menangis dan partner dia bercakap, dia kata, partner dia sini cakap dengan saya, Puan Sofiah, buat postmortem macam ni, dia panggil postmortem lah, adalah jalan terakhir saya sebelum saya decide saya nak berpisah atau tidak. Sebab saya rasa penting untuk kami point out apa yang kami rasa. Believe me, such postmortems, weekly reflections lah.
Okay, sebab
it's really needed.
Sebab bila kita cakap pasal postmortem tu, mungkin orang ingat
macam program pula kan,
program ke kan, kita ada event ke postmortem kan. Tapi like the concept itself, postmortem is to sit down and to really dissect what went right and what went wrong. So from that, kita dah tahu what went wrong tu, how do we improve the next right? So that's where the postmortem, the concept of postmortem
betul.
And then I think bila benda macam ni, postmortem, where you talk with your partner ke apa, it's something that has a lot to do with the discussion lah. Alright, and maybe this is the topic that we can bring for the next umbrella. Alright, so I think bila kita cakap tentang partners or even marriages kan, expectation ni, like your cases, you've seen a lot of marital cases kan, and then kita kadang-kadang yang datang jumpa kita bukan sahaja yang kahwin setahun 2 tahun, ada yang 10 tahun 30 tahun. And like you mentioned tadi, 30 tahun dah kahwin, and they are also macam ada struggle tu, kan. And and this is something yang probably message to the viewers out there, where if you're going through certain things in your marriage ataupun your relationship, even kalau tak kahwin pun your relationship, nak going into marriage tu kan, so macam there will be conflict, there will be problems, but it's how you and your partner, instead of guna you and I, that I you punya message tu, we use us. Us kan, kita guna guna macam mana kita berdua, to work on the relationship, because relationship is no longer about me and you, but it's about us kan, macam us tu, right? So macam, and I think that's a very important concept where everybody has to understand, right? Understand and try to implement. Right?
I have to say one quote lah, there's a song that I really like, it's called Perfectly Imperfect. I tak ingat siapa yang nyanyi, tapi basically what you have to understand that is that relationships are perfectly imperfect. And that's what makes it beautiful. Kan? So embrace your relationships. There will always be something that you will learn. It's a process of growth. It's not marriage, perkahwinan tidak bila you berkahwin dia tak end kat situ. Ramai orang fokus on the wedding. Beribu-ribu habis sampai jujur ada patient I dah 3-4 tahun kahwin masih lagi bayar hutang wedding dia.
For that one day.
Yes, for that one day. Sangat berat lah untuk that partner kan, untuk orang tu. Cuma nak katanya throughout that, marriage ni adalah satu fasa, bukan satu end goal. Oh kita kahwin ni, bukan macam tu. Kan? So I hope that to everyone out there, embrace your relationships, make it a learning process, and may you become a fulfilled individual at the end of the day, right?
Sebab kalau kita tengok about marriage, it's about you and your partner working together, and I think that's a very fine. Is it fine? Can I say fine? It's a beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I think it's beautiful where
it's a fun process sebenarnya tau. You try and error. Oh kita buat macam ni, oh tak okey macam ni, buat macam ni dia bila you tak boleh nak cari the fun aspect tu, dia jadi annoying, dia jadi penat. Dan dia sangat annoying juga. Tapi that's what's nice about it, you know.
Right. And then dia lagi-lagi macam kalau again macam expectation ni, the social media plays an important big role lah. Macam like you said, macam marriage tu kan, perkahwinan on that wedding day. Dia bukan marriage but the wedding tu. Right, the wedding tu sometimes it's a lot of influences. It is influenced by the social media tu. Kan kita nak tengok hand bouquet macam mana lah, dresses macam mana. So this is what expectation. Itu time perkahwinan. Right? After wedding pun you akan ada expectation you where you compare.
Yes. Very true.
Not even compare your partner, compare your marriage as a whole.
Yes. Again, have to remember that what Iman said just now, it's not wrong. It's not wrong to have all these expectations. Obviously, you want to be pretty on the wedding day. Tak ada masalah pun. Cuma put things in perspective. Remember whether it's realistic or unrealistic.
Faham? Alright, okay. So I think after we talked about expectation, there comes communication, and then communication is something we will talk about in the next episode, Umbrella Talk.
Yes.
So next episode of Umbrella Talk will be on the 17th of November. Next week, hari Jumaat juga, pukul 9 malam juga. So hari ni it's a pre-recorded. So walaupun nampak malam, you guys tengok malam pukul 9 ni, kita
maafkan kami terpaksa pre-record.
Alright, so it's a pre-recorded. So nanti next week we will be back to talk more on communication skills. Umbrella Talk episode seterusnya yang dengan tajuk pasangan ayam dan itik. Like you know, ayam dan itik kan, macam mana ayam dan itik ni nak talk, right? So macam samalah dia punya idea dia adalah macam lelaki dengan perempuan ni, right? You know, where we talk different you know language kan, macam mana where we want to talk and discuss, right?
True.
So I think we'll see you guys next week with that topic pasangan ayam itik, and then just to let you guys know, on the 10th of December, Payung Redup will be having a webinar about premarital counselling, where the speaker would be Puan Sofiah kita
I
sendiri.
hope you're not annoyed with me.
So macam Puan Sofiah is one of our speaker to talk on that. So we would talk about premarital counselling through psychological punya lens lah. Kita nak understand really about, you know, emotions lah, like what we talked about today. You know, expectations, discussions, this communication skills is where we will go into details lah. So stay tuned. Keep us updated on our social media. Follow us on Instagram, Payung Redup _ and then we will just register link there lah. Okay. So I think before we end the session, you know, with the genocide that's happening in Gaza, so Payung Redup is collaborating with khom.org.my. So anyone who wants to donate, siapa nak menderma kepada Palestin atau Syria, just go to their website khom.org.my and then just click donate to Syria atau Palestin lah. Alright, so we will be doing our part here. We cannot go there, kita tak boleh pergi sana untuk membantu mereka secara langsung. Kita boleh bantu apa yang kita mampu je lah. Alright, pada hari Jumaat ni, so kita sama-sama doakan mereka, and then
Semoga berakhirlah semuanya kan.
Amin. Alright, so I think with that, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you, bye bye. Jangan cakap kami tak payung.
Thank you.